try to have a cup a day. It's supposed to help you live longer. I figure I'll try.
And it's 6 o'clock, so we'll begin. I'm going to ask Pastor Patrick Messer of First Christian Church to come lead us in our invocation, please.
Thank you very much. Let us pray. God of grace and mercy, you are the God of all creation and all that is in it, and we are grateful for the gift of this day and for this time to be together. And we have gathered as a community of neighbors, folks that you have called us to love one another as ourselves, to do unto others as we would have them do unto us. And so it is in that spirit that we gather to hear one another, to make plans to discuss the future of this community of neighbors. In the midst of that discussion, in the midst of the talking and the listening, we pray that you would grant us the gift of the hermeneutic of charity, the ability to listen well, to listen with interest and curiosity to other perspectives, the gift of empathy. God, we also ask that you would grant wisdom and discernment as things are discussed and planned for the road ahead, and that whatever results, that the gift of listening and speaking and trying to understand one another well, that all of it would be bound up to make us a beloved community, something that takes us deeper on the journey of something of what you would call good, beautiful, just. So we ask all this in the name of the divine. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. Pastor of the First Christian Church. Appreciate the opportunity to share with him in the work of our community. Take care, Patrick. Be safe. Going to ask David Jones if he will come and lead us, please, in the Pledge of Allegiance, the Assistant Director of Richmond Tourism.
If we could all rise, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, David. We'll call our meeting to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Cole.
Here.
Commissioner Goebel.
Here.
Commissioner Newby.
Here.
Commissioner Brewer.
Here.
Mayor Blythe.
Here, thank you. We have one presentation tonight. I understand from our new business coordinator, Carrie Hensley, that we don't have a business that will present tonight.
That's right.
So we will move on to the second item, which is the Battle of Richmond event update. And David Jones will come back, if you will, please.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. I'm going to be brief because I know you all have a long agenda to get through, but I wanted to give you an update on behalf of the Battle of Richmond Association for our annual Civil War reenactment. First up on the screen there, we have some pictures of yourself firing a 3-inch ordnance rifle.
That's me in the hat. Yes, that's me. Yes, sir. Firing the cannon.
And I think,
Took out a whole rank.
but I guess I might be able to click through these. Let's see, there we go. And it's no coincidence that the week after the event, the barn collapsed.
Moving
So
right along. Next item on the agenda is
and I think that was due to an act of the divine, but no, we had a great weekend out there. We had approximately 2,000 visitors out there that came through. That's based on our parking count. So our attendance was up quite a bit over what it has been the last couple years, and we're proud of that. We kind of got down a little bit. We had to cancel the event a couple times because of COVID and whatnot, and so we've slowly been rebuilding. And so this has been a wonderful thing for us to be able to build this back up and see that kind of turnout. We had 160 reenactors register, and not all of those guys are out on the field. We did have some folks that did living history. We had a couple gals that came in that set up a medical display. Philip Seifert somehow, from his former career, got a fella to do a period embalming exhibit. So I tried to offer that service to some folks, but nobody wanted to take me up on that. But so it was a great event, and the highlight, I think, aside from the actual battle, is the vintage baseball game we put on between was the Georgetown Gentlemen and the Cincinnati Red Stockings, Philip? And I think Cincinnati won the game, right? This time. Hey, look, anytime Cincinnati wins is a good time. So, but that's always nice, because if you're not into the military aspect, that gives you a little bit of the civilian thing. And baseball became very popular during the Civil War, and that's where our great American pastime comes from. We're still waiting on some numbers to come into the association, but we raised somewhere in the neighborhood of $5,000, and so all of that goes back into the park. And I will say that this event, I think, is probably the only event that's held in a city park that is meant to support that park. So that money goes into preservation efforts, and whenever you see us get new artifacts or new interpretive signs or memorials that go up out there, that's what helps fund that. Let's see, I do want to thank, of course, the City Commission, because you all do sponsor our reenactor meal each year. I think this year we did Lee's famous recipe for them, and they really appreciated that. Of course, Richmond Tourism, we do a sponsorship as well, because it's one of our favorite events. I do want to thank the City of Berea, because they allow us to use their big tent, and they come out and set that up for us. So if you're out there in the sun and the heat and everything, you really come to appreciate that every year. Our Public Works Department was wonderful. They came out and set up the bike racks and helped get that in place. So we've got, some security barriers there. Our police and EMS and park security were out there keeping us safe the whole time. And this comes into the next one. Our EMS came in handy with one of the other groups I really want to thank. Was the Jackson County Junior ROTC. They come out and do our parking, but much like the federal troops from 160 years ago, there were several of them got overcome by the heat, and we had to drag them into the house and lay them on the floor and let them cool down. And I told the kids, I said, well, you aren't the first U.S. troops to be laid out here, so. But we didn't have any fatalities, thank goodness. And then, of course, our volunteers with the Battle of Richmond Association and other folks that show up. We've got Louetta Hetrick here, although she's in the wrong century. Another work event, we'll let it slide, and I'll make a notation. But they come out, and every year it is wonderful to see these folks pull together and pull off this event. Nobody's getting paid to be out there and sweat and whatnot, so we couldn't do it without the Battle of Richmond Association and the other folks that want to come out and take part, because it is, as Philip likes to say, the hottest event in Kentucky, ... literally. I think that's all that I have. Philip, do you have anything that you want to add? So,
But we're not finished.
no, what's our motto? The dust never settles. So, but thank you all for coming out, and I think Commissioner Brewer, you got to come out and fire a cannon too. I didn't find any pictures.
Yeah.
I tried to talk Commissioner Cole into it.
I chickened out.
Chickened out. So, but of course, Commissioner Goble and Newby, if you guys want to come out and shoot the cannon or whatever, anytime, the chief has done it, so that's always available, and our reenactors are very, very gracious to do that for us.
Well, David,
So.
you know when they tell you, Tammy, that you're not to, how do you say, not to cup your ears, but just, you're in for a bumpy ride when they tell you, now, don't do that.
Don't plug your ears, cup them.
Yeah. Thank you, David, for all that you, thank you, Phil.
You're welcome.
For what you do. And certainly, and I said to them, thanks to those reenactors who wear those wool uniforms. And it was, 90 plus that day, I think, both of those days.
We got up into the low 90s.
Yeah.
It's historically accurate heat. They were in the upper 90s when the battle happened. So.
You remember the guy that gave me the ear of corn when we was over there? Well, tell him I ate it, but I cooked it first.
I sure will. Do you guys have any questions for me or anything else you'd like to know that I didn't cover? If not, all right. Thank you all.
Thank you.
David.
The clerk has sent the minutes of our regular meeting for August 27, 6 p. electronically. Did everybody receive those? You received those, all right. You've had a chance to review them. May we have a motion, please, to accept them as presented?
I move.
Commissioner Newby
Second.
and Commissioner Goble. Is there any discussion? Correction, comment? Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cole.
Yes.
Mayor Blythe.
Yes, thank you. Order 24-126, an order of the City of Richmond adopting a new policy for the Richmond Police Department. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas the Richmond Police Department is in the process of rolling out a new policy and program for the department, and whereas it is recommended practice to adopt sections of the policy and procedure manual as completed and reviewed, and whereas this policy has been reviewed by all appropriate parties, including the city attorney, and foresees this new initiative to great potential for growth and success in the future. Now therefore be it ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners that the following policy and procedure for the Richmond Police Department is hereby adopted by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners as an official policy for the Richmond Police Department. Section 2.19, Police Cadet Program. This policy is attached to the order, and the policy shall be made a permanent part of the Richmond Police Department policy and procedures. This order shall be in full force and effect upon reading and adoption by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That's Order 24-126. May we have a motion, please, to bring to the floor for discussion and approval?
So move.
Commissioner Brewer,
Second.
Commissioner Newby. Chief, would you like to say something about that that's outstanding opportunity and
Thanks, Mayor. I'm pretty excited about it, and I know you all will be. When it was presented to me by Detective Yancey, Tyson Yancey, this is its author. You know, currently, we look for ways to connect with the community, and we try to start out at as young as age as we can. That way we can build a relationship with people, especially the kids in the town, so when they become adults, maybe we get to know people by their first name. And I always tell the officers it's hard to treat somebody poorly if you know them, you know. But right now we currently have a couple programs that we do. We do the youth summer camp for ages 11 to 14. We teach a class at Madison Central, a college credit course, a dual credit course for EKU, like a police administration, criminal justice class that we hit the high school age a little bit. But we never had anything into place for young adults and teenagers, and we lose track of them. So if they leave high school and they don't go to college, or they do go to college, we've lost track of those people, and we don't have any interaction with them. So we wanted to basically come up with something that captures that age group. And Detective Yancey brought this to me one day, and he's like, "Hey, I've got this idea, and it's called a police cadet program." And I'm like, "Well, explain that to me." So he did, and he brought this policy that you see here. And I'm going to go over the objectives of it, and I'll leave questions for him because he's pretty excited about it. There's three main objectives. It's mentorship. Cadets will experience growth professionally and personally in character, citizenship, wellness, resiliency, and patriotism. Training. Cadets will be educated on the mission, values, and the purpose of those in pursuing a career in law enforcement, and specifically the mission and the values of the Richmond Police Department. Community engagement. Cadets will participate in a variety of community events for service opportunities, practice, experience, competition, and recreation. So with that being said, I'll give the floor to Detective Yancey, and if y'all got any questions, please ask, because this is pretty exciting, at least it is for me.
Detective?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm happy to answer
So
any
we
questions.
can ask you a question?
Yeah, buddy,
Yes.
ask up.
So where are you gonna hold this at?
We're going to try to jump around a little bit. We're
Yeah.
going to try to partner with some outside sources, some other businesses inside the city, and that's going to help kind of do that mentorship and bridge that gap. We're gonna try to use some, like the fire training center would be one training place. Possibly a couple other tracks, things like that, just for the physical education portion of
Do you
it.
have a number in mind that you want to go through the cadet program?
I'd like to start this year, maybe, I think something manageable for me would be somewhere between 10 to 20.
Yeah.
And maybe hopefully grow and keep it growing from there.
Do you send, and I'm not trying to hog the questions, but just kind of interesting that, do you send invitations out to the businesses or schools or?
I think what we'll do is, like summer camp, we put the applications, we'll advertise it on social media.
Yeah.
And we'll place it on the website so you can go in and apply. You just gotta be from 16 to 20 is our age group.
Right.
I was gonna say, what's
Yeah,
that?
16 to 20, and, because at 20, they can apply for the police department, they changed that last year, as
Right.
long as they're 21 when they graduate. So we can work on recruitment as well as building these relationships up and having a chance to mentor some of these. And y'all are all familiar with Emmett Igo in the boxing gym.
Yeah.
And we're gonna, he's one of our biggest partners in this, so, you know, I'm thinking he could do a pretty good job with like physical fitness and
Yeah.
discipline and stuff like that out there at the gym. So, you know, that's just one community partner that's been with us from the very beginning once he brought this to us, so.
When you gonna start?
I would hope after this policy.
Yeah.
Within the next month or so.
With
Yeah.
applications?
Yes.
So is the age, is that the only prerequisite, 16 to 20?
No, there's a couple other things. We want you to have a decent GPA.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't want you to be in any kind of criminal activity or been involved in that. So you gotta be, you know,
So you're gonna run a background check? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They would hold the same standard that our internship program
that-
does. Same application process with just a couple small tweaks to it.
but, well, if you notice in policy too, we wrote a section in there that there could be an exception made by the chief of police.
Yeah.
So I don't want any troubled youth to not have a pathway to a program like this, because I think that would be beneficial
Yeah.
just as much.
Yes.
Because, you know, even by judicial order, if they're required to attend, I think it could probably be something positive in their lives, you know? Yeah.
Sounds good.
I just had a couple of comments. I love the list of professional development that you're gonna put them through, so that they're actually gonna get to experience, gosh, the topics you have here are good. This is gonna be a really good learning experience for those young individuals. And then I also really like the cadet uniform that you sketched out here for us. That's good.
Good.
Not too formal, not too, you know, you can move around, but that's really, I like that. And then last but not least, if there's a role that EKU College of Justice and Safety can play, I'd be glad to facilitate that conversation and just make sure that if they can help in some way, I'm sure they would be willing to have that conversation and
Sure.
if they can help. I know it just goes up to 20, but, you know, some of the students obviously aren't 20 yet, but they may be able to help in other ways too.
Sure, yeah. EKU is one of our big partners also, so we may reach out to you, Commissioner Cole,
Yeah.
for that, because, you know, I think the more people we get involved, the bigger this becomes.
Yes.
And hopefully, you know, when we start seeing these outside, when we have activities in town, we got a lot coming up this fall, you might see these cadets out doing just a little volunteer work, helping out just so they see our side of it.
Yeah.
So you get a chance to interact with them, because they'll have their neatly sketched out uniforms here that they'll be wearing, I think. Which, you know, for a small amount of funds, which you all had graciously approved in our budget, we'll be able to provide these uniforms. There's no cost to the person that's applying or anything like that. So I think it's going to be a lot bigger than
Yes.
we anticipate.
Yeah. I do
Chief,
too.
is the Citizens Police Academy still functioning?
It is.
It is.
The first night was last night.
Yeah.
Yep, we had the first night last night.
Any intersection of activities planned or considered maybe?
Not until
Not-
just now, Mayor, thank you. You're part of the team, and we're gonna write that down. That's awesome.
Intersect.
That's right, yeah. We do, you know, it's split up between Berea, Richmond, the Sheriff's Department, and EKU and the State Police. We all work together with the county. All those police agencies work together with DOCJT to pull off that Citizens Police Academy. So
That's what I was thinking.
certain nights, each agency has a
Yes.
section, so when it comes our night, heck yeah.
Cadet.
we'll-
Outstanding.
Yeah, we'll have the cadets there,
Be perfect.
yeah.
And then hopefully, once we get that first cohort up and going, we can work with Kelly and really get some publicity for those young people that are gonna be in the program.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I think you all seeing them and interacting with them is gonna be really big.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to, that way you can ask them questions and, just check in with them, you know what I'm saying? It'd be,
Absolutely.
that would be a big thing for them.
Chief, thank you for having the kind of atmosphere in the department that would encourage Detective Yancey and others to present something that they have in mind. It's sort of the same thing that I say about Millstone Park.
Yes, sir.
That was not an idea that came, although it required the city manager's office. It wasn't an idea that the city manager came up with necessarily, but rather a citizen did.
Yep.
And the same approach, those in the department, as they have. So thank you for having the kind of atmosphere that allows them or makes them or encourages them,
Yeah.
if they've got an idea like that,
Bring
to
it to
bring
the
it forward. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, well, we got a good group.
Yes.
I'm really proud of them. I know you all have heard me say that 1,000 times, but when I say we've got a great team, that's really what it takes. And you're right, Mayor. It's, I don't have all the bright ideas.
Yeah.
I've got great people and they do great
That's it.
things, so.
That's it. Thank you. All right, any other questions, comments? There being none,
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you, Chief. Thank you, Detective. Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Commissioner Goble.
Yes.
Mayor Blythe.
Yes, thank you. Ordinance 24-19, an ordinance of the City of Richmond levying an ad valorem tax for the 2024 year upon all property situated in the city that is subject to taxation. This is second reading. We will vote tonight. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas the City of Richmond does levy an ad valorem tax yearly upon property situated within the city that is subject to taxation, and whereas the tax rate has been calculated and reviewed, now therefore be it ordained by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners that there is hereby levied upon all property real and personal situated within the corporate limits of the City of Richmond and having a taxable status in the said city, which is taxable by the city for the city purposes for the 2024 year, an ad valorem tax fixed on each $100 worth of said property as the value thereof has been determined in a manner required by law as follows. The ad valorem tax for personal property for the City of Richmond General Fund for the 2024 year shall be at a rate of 15.3 cents on each $100 worth of said property. The ad valorem tax for real property for the City of Richmond General Fund for the 2024 year shall be set at a rate of 12.1 cents on each $100 worth of said property. The ad valorem tax for motor vehicles for the year 2024 to be collected by the Madison County Court Clerk shall be set at a rate of 28.7 cents on each $100 of assessed property. There shall be a 2% discount on all tax bills paid prior to November 1st, 2024. The face amount will be due on November 1st, 2024 until December 31st. A penalty of 10% shall be added to all taxes and assessments remaining unpaid after January 1st, 2025, and that such taxes and assessments shall bear an interest at a rate of 15% from January 1st, 2025 until paid. This ordinance shall become effective immediately upon second reading and adoption and publication by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. This is ordinance 24-19. May we have a motion, please, to bring to the floor for discussion and approval? This is voting.
So moved.
Commissioner
Second.
Cole, Commissioner Newby. Is there any discussion? Sharon, anything you want to add tonight? Finance Director, just City Manager, anything we
Just
need to add
for the
tonight?
record, there is no increase in taxes.
There is no increase in taxes.
That's what I was gonna ask you to clarify.
That's
to
probably
just
the
make
most
sure.
important thing people want to hear.
That is it, sir.
But
Thank
yet there
you.
will be more collected because of more,
More rooftop,
Residents.
yeah, that's right.
And businesses and the residents, you're right.
Yes, indeed.
Keeps our tax bill.
Yeah, it went down just a little bit.
Came down some,
can we say that loud? It went down?
yeah.
You went down, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. You went
Not
down.
loud enough.
Say it again.
You don't get to say that very often, do you?
Any further discussion? All right, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Brewer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cole?
Yes.
Commissioner Goble?
Yes.
Commissioner Newby?
Yes.
Mayor Blythe?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Sharon, and thank you, Mr. City Manager, for all the work that's done in order to bring us to this point that we can consider. Ordinance 24-20, ordinance of the City of Richmond, Kentucky, amending ordinance 18-11 pertaining to the Richmond City Codes Enforcement Board and Demolition Administration Standards. This is a second reading also. We will vote. Mr. City Manager, please, for a summary.
Whereas the city in section 35-165 through 35-175 of the City of Richmond, Kentucky Code of Ordinances has enacted an ordinance creating the governing of the city's Codes Enforcement Board, and whereas the city adopted ordinance 2226, which is included in the 2021 International Property Maintenance Code Manual to govern codes officials, after review, the city needs to amend ordinance 1811 with sections of the code to reflect demolition administration standards. Now therefore be ordained that, and if it pleases the board, I will summarize section 1, because all this does, it does not change any language in the ordinance. All it does is update the sections from section 110 to 113, so no language is changed.
Sir, if there's no objection, yes, sir.
This ordinance shall become effective immediately upon its enactment following second reading and publication in accordance with the requirements of applicable Kentucky law.
Thank you, sir. That's ordinance 24-20. May we have a motion, please? Bring the floor for discussion and approval.
So moved.
Commissioner Cole,
Second.
Commissioner Brewer. Is there any further discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Cole?
Yes.
Commissioner Goble?
Yes.
Commissioner Newby?
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer?
Yes.
Mayor Blythe?
Yes, thank you. Ordinance 24-21, an ordinance of the City of Richmond, Kentucky, amending ordinance number 13-20 and 19-13 pertaining to the powers and duties of the city's safety officer. This is a second reading. We will vote tonight. Mr. City Manager, please.
Whereas the city, by ordinance number 1320, did create the position of city safety officer and set forth the powers and duties of that position, and whereas the Board of Commissioners finds that it is in the public interest to amend that ordinance in the particulars herein set forth as to permit the safety officer to perform a duty not authorized by the provisions of ordinance number 1320 and ordinance 1913. Now therefore be ordained that section 2, subpart H of ordinance number 19-13 is hereby amended to read in its entirety as follows. Section H, investigate and report on non-injury and minor injury traffic collisions. Safety officers who have completed at least 240 hours of training in collision reconstruction and have been authorized by the Chief of Police may investigate and report on serious physical injury or fatal traffic collisions. This ordinance shall become effective immediately upon its enactment by the Board of Commissioners following second reading and publication in accordance with the requirements of applicable Kentucky law.
Thank you, sir. This is ordinance 24-21. It is a second reading. May we have a motion, please, bring to the floor for discussion and approval.
I move.
Commissioner Newby,
Second.
Commissioner Goble. Is there any discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Goble?
Yes.
Commissioner Newby?
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cole?
Yes.
Mayor Blythe?
Yes, thank you. Ordinance 24-22, an ordinance of the City of Richmond amending the annual budget for the ARPA, municipal aid, park project, capital projects for the City of Richmond fiscal year 2025, estimating revenues and resources and appropriating funds for the operations of city government. This is, again, a second reading, and we will vote tonight. Mr. City Manager and Madam Finance Director, whoever's going to go first. Sharon?
Whereas a budget proposal has been prepared and delivered to the City Commission, and whereas the City Commission has reviewed the budget proposal and necessary modifications have been completed as recommended. Now therefore be it ordained by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners that the amended budget for municipal aid, ARPA, Parks Project, and capital projects for the fiscal year beginning July the 1st, 2024, and ending June the 30th, 2025, is hereby presented as follows. In the Parks Project, our estimated fund balance carried forward is $11,260,820. Our locally generated revenue is $10,460,000 for total resources for appropriations of $21,720,820, and our appropriations are $21,621,820, leaving a total estimated balance as of June the 30th, 2025 of $99,000. In our capital projects account, our balance forward is $5,500,000. Our locally generated revenue is $2,115,269. Our state and federal funds is $450,000, with total resources for appropriations of $8,065,269. Our appropriations are $5,186,338, with ending balance of $2,878,931. In our ARPA fund, our balance for it is $2,316,294, which is the same amount for our appropriations. Our appropriations are $2,316,294, leaving an ending balance of $0. In our municipal aid fund, our balance for it is $150,000. Our state and federal funds is $812,441, with leaving total resources for appropriations at $962,441. Our appropriations are $910,000, leaving an ending balance of $52,441. The 2025 amended fiscal year budget for ARPA, municipal aid, parks project, and capital projects is hereby approved as submitted. The amounts budgeted above are hereby appropriated to the accounts indicated for the 2025 fiscal year budget. The city clerk is hereby directed to publish a copy of the fiscal year 2025 budget ordinance in accordance with KRS 424.240. This ordinance shall be in full force and effect upon second reading and adoption and publication by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Finance Director. May we have a motion, please, to bring to the floor ordinance 24-22 for discussion and approval?
So moved.
Commissioner Cole,
Second.
Commissioner Brewer. Is there any discussion? Anything else, Mr. City Manager?
The one item I'd like the board to discuss is the funding we moved under ARPA budget to a new line item of Unhomed and Recovery Coalition. There's $250,000 there for those needs, and I think it's a consensus of the group that these groups that want to apply for this money per se, raise matching funds, and then come to you all for approval. So it could be any of these certain agencies or nonprofits out there that want to access this funding. They need to raise matching funds and then come to you all for approval for
And
that.
not to make it an automatic granting at this point because of a line item.
Yeah.
Yes. And maybe form their boards, or do they submit?
Most of these organizations have boards. I did discuss with you all, and this wasn't my idea, but I think it would be a good idea to form a board moving forward that would include all three governments and the stakeholders in our community to move us forward. I think there's a lot of different groups doing a lot of good work out there, but if we had a group that included all three governments, Baptist Health, New Vista, Liberty Place, God's Outreach, Enrich, Madison Home, and we can certainly put some bylaws together for a board like that, but I
Does
think.
that include like CASA and
CASA.
swings that we attended?
Yeah, I
They
mean, we
would
could include all these groups together, and they would have representation on that board. And then it might be, you know, to really get going with momentum to serve these needs, the three governments, let's say that each of us put in $100,000, you have a $300,000, and then this board applies for a grant. That $300,000 is used to match a grant, and then all of a sudden you're at $600,000. And then that board decides how to use that money where it's needed most out of all those groups. So that's kind of the idea here, if we can get everybody together and do it. That's the key. And certainly our city attorney can put together some bylaws to present. We kind of need a point person to get everybody involved and want to do it, I think.
So then, at this point, your recommendation to us is that, or suggestion even, is that we would have the discussion of putting together that board in order to,
Yeah. I just added the discussion of the board to the point about the current funding of $250,000. You know, we don't want to line item that to any one organization and them only get it. So moving forward, they would have to show that they had matching funds and then get approval from you all to draw from that money.
thank you, sir, for thinking beyond where we were, in order to be, I'll use the word fair,
Yeah.
to all of those who are certainly attempting to do those things. Any further discussion?
You know, and the city manager mentioned that, but I think a couple of the things that you said were really important. One is that we want to put together this coalition, and that it's not just us working with a nonprofit here and there, that we truly want it to be a blend of the resources so that we can make the biggest change here in our community. And the other thing is the matching funds. Like, I don't want the city of Richmond to just be in this alone, because it's not just a city of Richmond issue. It's a city of Richmond, city of Berea, Madison County issue, and we could even expand that if we wanted to, but it definitely is a community issue. And so I don't want it to just be the city of Richmond funding it and it become a de facto government agency, because these are nonprofits and they have a lot more flexibility to do some things and can move much quicker sometimes than government can. And so what's important to me is that it's a blend, you know, of our nonprofits here, and that if they have a role to play, that they feel like they have a seat at the table. And you also mentioned that we need a point person to kind of have those conversations with those nonprofits, and there's many.
Yeah.
I didn't keep count, and you all were adding them in, but it
There's
seemed
a
like there
bunch.
was probably 10 or
12, yeah.
12, I lost count. But to have that conversation with them, so I truly do think that we need a point person to make that happen. Because, you know, it's like everything else. If it's the big we gonna do it, you have to have somebody that leads that effort. And so, you know, we can continue that conversation, or if there's someone that, you know, feels like they have a lot of contact in the community and could pull to get that coalition together, you know, with the city attorney's help. I know we have to do the legal piece of it, but there's also the relationship piece of it that has to occur.
Absolutely, and I think what stemmed this idea was, you know, we have stepped up to the plate year after year with our own resources, but most recently in the past 2 years with the ARPA funding, which is going away. So it's time to put a group together where we can combine resources and that group determine where the biggest need is at the time. Because it's gonna change. It might be homeless now, or the unhomed now, and it might be a recovery piece that needs attention. So we need that group of leaders on that board that can make those decisions and matching funds from all
be
the
able to
states.
That's the
leverage
key.
what is there.
Yeah,
The
that's
key
right.
is the matching funds out there.
Yeah. So if you all have a point person in mind, certainly I feel like Tyler and I can put the bylaws together, and I'm willing to make calls to some of these stakeholders and float the idea if you want me to. I don't have
Well, why
any
don't you,
problem.
I mean, this is just my opinion, why don't you start it out that way, and then we can help you with
Okay.
finding
That's
somebody.
fine.
you know,
Yeah.
to,
I was thinking that.
I know you would be.
And do you have you taken a look at our structure, existing structure, chart or whatever? You would not want to use anything in the chart already? You understand what I'm asking
Yeah,
without
I
saying?
do.
You
Let me
think
look at
better
that.
to look beyond?
That's a good idea. Let me look at that and see if there's a fit for it. I hadn't thought of that yet, so
Maybe
I-
to bring it together and out of then what's brought together,
yeah, absolutely.
perhaps a point
I
person.
think anybody on this board would love to be a point person with that and work with you.
Well, I'll certainly need the help because to Tammy's point, it's about relationships.
Oh, yeah.
So we all have relationships with these different nonprofits, so I think we all can help with
Yeah.
it.
And last but not least, I really think timing is of the essence. You mentioned the fact that the ARPA funds are going away. And, you know, I think there's been some confusion around that. It's not us taking any ARPA funds away. It's the federal government, and those are coming to an end. And I know we've always known that, but that doesn't mean it doesn't hurt when those
Yeah.
dollars are gone. So I think
right.
that we really have to address this issue.
Well, and that's true, because they need to plan for that
Right.
themselves, the organizations, as well as we do. So,
Exactly.
All right, any further discussion? Madam Clerk, the motion is on its passage, is that right?
All
All right.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer,
yes,
Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Mayor Blythe.
Yes, thank you. Ordinance 24-23, an ordinance of the City of Richmond, Kentucky, amending ordinance 23-27. This again is a second reading. We will vote tonight. Mr. City Manager, please.
Whereas the Board of Commissioners of the City of Richmond adopted ordinance number 2327 on August 22nd, 2023, which authorized the issuance of the city's general obligation bonds to finance the cost to acquire, construct, and equip the Richmond Regional Sports Complex. Whereas the city issued its general obligation bonds, Series 2023, on October 5th, 2023, the proceeds of which bonds have been utilized for the project. Whereas the city has current plans for additional capital projects, including but not limited to renovation of fields for Little League Baseball, improvements to the irrigation system at Gibson Bay Golf Course, acquisition and construction of new police station for the city, and whereas to take advantage of the cost effectiveness of tax exempt financing and to provide the city with flexibility in the use of the proceeds of the bonds for additional capital projects, the city would like to expand the definition of project as defined in the bond ordinance. Now therefore be ordained by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners as follows. Section 1, amendment to Section 1 of ordinance number 2327. The definition of project in Section 1 of ordinance number 2327 is as follows. Project refers to the acquisition, construction, equipping, and equipping of the Richmond Regional Sports Complex to be owned and operated by the city for the benefit of its citizens. The definition of project in Section 1 of ordinance number 2327 is amended and restated to read as follows. Project refers to capital projects for the city, including but not limited to the acquisition, construction, and equipping of the Richmond Regional Sports Complex, renovation of fields for Little League Baseball, improvements to the irrigation system at Gibson Bay Golf Course, and acquisition, construction, equipping of a new police station for the city, all to be owned and operated by the city for the benefit of the citizens. Effective date, this ordinance shall be effective immediately upon its enactment by the Board of Commissioners following second reading and publication in accordance with the requirements of applicable Kentucky law.
Thank you, sir. That's ordinance 24-23. This is the second reading. May we have a motion, please, to bring to the floor for discussion and approval at this time?
I move.
Commissioner Newby,
second.
Commissioner Brewer, is there any discussion? Anything further, Mr. City Manager, you want to mention? That gives us the flexibility to apply the bonding
Two other projects.
to the projects.
Yeah,
No further discussion? Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Brewer,
yes,
Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Mayor Blythe.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. Order 24-119, an order of the City of Richmond awarding a bid for 2 vehicles. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas the City of Richmond has advertised and accepted bids for the purchase of 2 new vehicles, and whereas 1 bid was submitted and received and after review met all specifications, now therefore be it ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners that the purchase of 2 Chevy Traverse 2024 is awarded to Bachman Chevrolet in the amount of $83,290. Funding for this will be allocated from the Parks Department Capital Outlay and Battlefield Department Capital Outlay. This order shall take effect immediately upon passage by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That's Order 24-119. May we have a motion, please? Bring the floor for discussion and approval.
I move.
Commissioner Newby,
Second.
Commissioner Goble. Is there any discussion? Anything, Mr. City Manager? There being none, all in favor of the motion to accept, please say aye.
Should we, I just had a question, if we should wait for Commissioner Brewer. I mean, we're not in that big of a hurry to give him an opportunity to participate in the vote.
You want to sing the song while we're waiting?
Oh, no, trust me. Everyone would leave if I sang.
Only in case there was a nay, would I be concerned? And you know, and what happens, huh?
Are we waiting?
I don't see the need unless there would be a nay, just to be sure that, otherwise, as long as
I can just do roll
the
call.
majority is here,
Okay.
so we can vote. All in favor, please say aye. No, let's do it like this. Madam Clerk, please.
Yep. Commissioner Cole?
Yes.
Commissioner Goble?
Yes.
Commissioner Newby?
Yes.
Mayor Blythe?
Yes, thank you. I was,
I'll just put
I
absent.
was thinking you Tuesday.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Commissioner Cole, for observing that. Order 24-120, order of the City of Richmond awarding a bid for a metal storage building for the recycle department. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas the City of Richmond has advertised and accepted bids to build a new storage building located at 550 Recycle Drive that will enhance the operations of the recycle department. And whereas 2 bids were received and after review, 1 proposal was more cost efficient. Now therefore be it ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners that the bid for the metal storage building construction project is awarded to First Call Construction of Richmond, Kentucky in the amount of $154,100. Funding for the project will be allocated from Recycle Department, Capital Outlay, and non-departmental contingency account. The submitted bid is hereby attached to the order, and the mayor is authorized to sign a contract on behalf of the city. This order shall take effect immediately upon passage by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That's Order 24-120. May we have a motion, please, and bring to the floor for discussion and approval.
So moved?
Commissioner Cole,
Second.
Commissioner Newby. Is there any discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Goble?
Yes.
Commissioner Newby?
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cole?
Yes.
Mayor Blythe?
Yes, thank you. Order 24-121, an order of the City of Richmond accepting a resignation by an employee in the Police Department. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas Bryce Holen in the Police Department has submitted his resignation notice to the city, now therefore be it ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners accepts the resignation of Bryce Holen from the Police Department effective September 25th. The Board of Commissioners would like to thank him for his service since 2018. This order shall become effective immediately upon adoption by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That's Order 24-121. May we have a motion, please, bring to the floor for discussion and approval.
So moved.
Commissioner Brewer,
Second.
Commissioner Goble. Is there any discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Newby?
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cole?
Yes.
Commissioner Goble?
Yes.
Mayor Blythe?
Yes, thank you. Order 24-122, Order of the City of Richmond awarding a bid for Adventure Falls Turf Project. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas the City of Richmond has advertised and accepted bids for an outdoor turf for the Adventure Falls Miniature Golf Facility, and whereas 2 bids were submitted and 1 was determined to be more cost-efficient for the proposal for the city, now therefore be it ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners that the Adventure Falls Carpet Project is awarded to Waco Carpet Outlet of Waco, Kentucky, in the total amount of $34,103.93. The project will include installation of outdoor turf, take-up and disposal of existing flooring, and prep services. Funding for the project will be allocated from the Parks Department capital outlay, which was budgeted at $50,000. The submitted bid is hereby attached to the order, and the mayor is authorized to execute any and all documents relating to the agreement. This order shall take effect upon reading and passage by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That's Order 24-122. May we have a motion, please, bring to the floor for discussion and approval?
So move.
Commissioner Brewer,
Second.
Commissioner Newby. Is there any discussion?
Is this in addition to what we laid down before and it just didn't hold up, or?
I believe we replaced it, I want to say 2
was
or
in
3
years
years
ago.
ago.
It was in 2019.
2000, oh, wow, so
Good.
that's been for longer back than that. I didn't hear you say that, yeah.
Yeah.
It needed it.
So that's a pretty good run for that, 5 years.
Yeah.
Actually.
Any further discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Brewer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cole?
Yes.
Commissioner Goble?
Yes.
Commissioner Newby?
Yes.
Mayor Blythe?
Yes, thank you. Order 24-123, in order of the City of Richmond appointing 2 new members on the Human Rights Commission.
Whereas there is vacancies on the Human Rights Commission, and whereas there are 2 citizens that have expressed an interest in serving and has made a commitment to attend all meetings, now therefore be it ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners that the following members, Ian Ward and Renee Mitchell, be appointed to the Human Rights Commission for a term of 3 years, expiring September 10th, 2027. This order shall be in full force and effect upon reading and adoption by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That's Order 24-123. May we have a motion, please, bring to the floor for discussion and approval?
I move.
Commissioner Newby,
Second.
Commissioner Brewer. Is there any discussion? Just one quick comment. To get that board back functioning, it's been just a little bit lax over the past several months, but there were some reasons, and the current, or the former now, chair served quite well, but his health condition has kept him from being able to perform as he desired. And we found some passionate and committed folks who've committed themselves to be committed. So we're looking forward to getting, I think there's maybe 1 or 2 more positions on that board to be filled, and we have some folks already contacted for that. Any further discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Cole?
Yes.
Commissioner Goble?
Yes.
Commissioner Newby?
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer?
Yes.
Mayor Blythe?
Yes, thank you. Incidentally, let me mention Ian Ward is I'll just say he's an employee of one of the local banks, and Renee Mitchell is an employee of New Vista, in fact, and has been here several times in our meeting out of her interest. Order 24-124, order of the City of Richmond, Kentucky, authorizing demolition of a substandard structure and the cleanup at 419 Francis Street and placing a lien against said property for the city's cost. Mr. Attorney, please.
Whereas the city has received numerous calls regarding the condition of a property located at 419 Francis Street, and whereas the Codes Enforcement Department has made repeated attempts to get the property owner to bring the property into compliance, and whereas ordinance number 83-27, the nuisance ordinance, provides for the city or a private contractor to remedy this situation and to place a lien against said property, and whereas the Codes Enforcement Board has adopted findings of fact in favor of demolition, which the city advertised for bids and received 3 bids, after which review 1 bid was found to be most cost-effective. Now, therefore, be it ordered by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners that Section 1, it is hereby authorized to demolish the substandard structure at 419 Francis Street and clean up the lot by Hunt's Trucking in the amount of $17,575. Funds for the project were budgeted in the fiscal year 25 budget, non-departmental capital outlay improvements other than buildings - abandoned properties, account number following. There shall be a lien placed on the property with the Madison County Court Clerk in the amount of the city's cost for the demolition and cleanup. This order shall become effective immediately upon passage by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, sir. That's Order 24-124. May we have a motion, please, bring to the floor for discussion and for approval?
So moved.
Commissioner Goble,
Second.
Commissioner Newby. Is there any discussion?
Mayor, if I may?
Yes, sir, please.
We have a pretty good list of properties like this now that we have demolition cleaned up and they're empty lots and we have liens on them. And the idea moving forward, and we've donated some lots to Habitat for Humanity, and they're actually starting some homes on them right now. But what we'd like to do moving forward is using this as an example with a $17,500 lien on the property. We would like to see that property foreclosed on, go to master commissioner sale, and allow Habitat for Humanity to look at the opportunity to bid on that property. If they were the successful bidder of the property, we would come to you all and ask for a forgiveness of the lien, and then donate the property to Habitat for Humanity so they could construct homes. And that makes good use of these empty lots. And to be honest with you, we've got a pretty big list of inventory lots like this right now. So Habitat for Humanity can only do so much every year, so it wouldn't be a bunch at one time. It would be a couple every year. So that's kind of where we're headed with this stuff.
Perhaps at a future workshop session, we could take a look
Yeah.
and let you discuss, you and the attorney discuss with us those properties. And
That's a great idea, and I'll also invite, I reached out to the Habitat for Humanity people this week, and they responded we could invite them to the work session.
yes, thank you. Any further discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Goble?
Yes.
Commissioner Newby?
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cole?
Yes.
Mayor Blythe?
Yes, thank you. Order 24-125, order of the City of Richmond accepting a bid for the installation of a water line to the on-course bathroom at Gibson Bay Golf Course. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas the city wishes to run a new water line to the on-course bathroom located at the Gibson Bay Golf Course during the renovation project, and whereas the city advertised for bids on August 20th and received 5 bids, in which one proposal met all specifications and has determined to be the most cost-efficient. Now therefore be it ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners that the Gibson Bay Water Line Project is awarded to First Call Construction of Richmond, Kentucky in the amount of $22,500. The funding for the project will be allocated from the Golf Pro Capital Outlay. The bid is submitted to the attached order. The mayor is authorized to execute the contract by his signature, making it a binding agreement between the two parties. This order shall be effective immediately upon adoption by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, ma'am. That's order 24-125. May we have a motion, please, bring to the floor for discussion and approval?
So moved.
Commissioner Cole,
Second.
Commissioner Newby, any discussion?
I just wanted to ask the clerk if we need to do any additional documentation since we're not going low cost.
Well, this was the lowest bid, wasn't it?
I think so.
Are
that's
you
my
looking at the
understanding.
terminology most efficient
Oh, I see. Is that what you mean by the,
as opposed to?
No, I just meant the bids that we received. I'm sorry. I just meant the ones that bid on it. Maybe I'm on a different one.
It's the lowest bid that we received, and we
Okay.
received several.
Okay, I'm on the other one then, that was not the low bid. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But do we have, when we don't take the low bid, I mean, I know we can do that with justification, but do we have to
That's right.
document that in a different way or approve that in a different way, or how does that work?
We normally provide you all justification for not taking the low bid. And a lot of times it could be lead time for the contractor doing the work, it could be materials, but we would normally have justification for you for that. Was there one that we didn't take a low bid on? I thought we were low bid on everything.
I must be on the other one, the Hunt's Trucking and the First Call and Epic.
If it pleases the board, since we've moved on from that, can we come back
Oh,
to that?
no, that's fine. I just want to talk about the process, just in terms
You
of.
mean order 24-124?
Is that the one for the
That's Hunt's Trucking.
demolition?
No, it's fine. We can move on. The process is what I was just trying to clarify in terms of if we didn't go low-cost bidder, what kind of documentation, just to make sure we document it, because there's always a reason, but just to make sure we
Yeah,
document that
absolutely.
appropriately.
We would justify the not taking the lowest bid.
It's usually
Normally.
within the order.
Yeah,
It
that's right.
says it within the order.
Any further discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cole.
Yes.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Mayor Blythe.
Yes, thank you. Order 24-127. Order of the City of Richmond awarding a Phase 1A construction bid for the Richmond Regional Sports Complex. Mr. City Manager, please.
Whereas the city of Richmond has advertised and accepted bids for stormwater drainage systems, paving and curbing of a 280-acre site for a sports complex lot located at the corner of Tates Creek Road and Goggins Lane, Richmond, Kentucky. And whereas one bid was received which met all specifications, has been determined to be the best, now therefore be ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners, the Richmond Regional Sports Complex Project Contract Number 604-24-04 is awarded to the Allen Company Incorporated of Lexington, Kentucky for a total of $2,705,500. Funding for this project will be allocated from the Richmond Regional Sports Complex Project Fund. The submitted bid is hereby attached to the order. This order shall take effect upon reading and passage by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, sir. That's Order 24-127. May we have a motion, please, to bring to the floor for discussion and approval?
So moved.
Commissioner Goble,
Second.
Commissioner Brewer, is there any discussion? Anything you want to mention, Mr. City Manager?
No, this was just another piece of the park project that was bidded out separately, so.
All right.
And actually, we thought it would be part of Phase 2, but we backed it into Phase 1A because it was gonna save us a bunch of money on having a contractor on site already.
Outstanding, yeah. After the Parks Board meeting the other day, we rode out there and took a look at the progress. And then when the congressman's representative was here a few days ago, I took him out there to show him. And I thought about Congressman Lewis, who talked about good trouble.
Yeah.
I came back with some good mud.
All over your vehicle.
What happened was, it was a dry day, but the Allen Company doing, we call it, Mr. Attorney, due diligence, they were spraying that dry dirt
Dust
to
down.
keep the dust down.
Mayor, I went out there today and I took my vehicle home last week, and my wife asked me where I'd been. And so I took a city vehicle today because the mud was flying. Yeah.
Yes, sir. That's some good stuff, though, going on, certainly.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's taking shape. It's taking shape. Any further discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cole.
Yes.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Mayor Blythe.
Yes, thank you. Order 24-128, and there has been the number corrected. Hopefully, all of us have access to that. Or we'll hear it in the reading. Order 24-128. May we have a motion, please? Let's read it first. Let's see who reads it. Mr. City Manager?
Yes, sir.
I'll get it together in a second.
Whereas the city is currently finishing up Phase 1 of ground construction on the Richmond Regional Sports Complex, Allen Company has recommended a change order number 2. And whereas the city commission has reviewed the agreement and made a recommendation to move forward, now therefore be ordered that the Richmond City Board of Commissioners authorizes the following change order for the Richmond Regional Sports Complex, Phase 1, between the City of Richmond and Allen Company. Change order number 2, additional storm sewer for the detention ponds, and that number is actually $469,882. The mayor is authorized to execute same on behalf of the city. This order shall be effective immediately upon reading and adoption by the Board of Commissioners for the City of Richmond, Kentucky.
Thank you, sir. That's order 24-128 with the corrected figure from the initial printing. May we have a motion, please, to bring the order to the floor for discussion and approval?
So moved.
Commissioner Cole,
Second.
Commissioner Newby, is there any discussion?
If I may.
Yes, sir.
I know this seems like a large amount of money, $469,000 plus almost $470,000. This change order was for additional storm sewer and detention ponds that were added for water runoff. And really, the first change order we had was $183,000 and some change credit. So really, total change orders to date for Phase 1 amount to about $287,000. So just trying to show a little justification in that change order number.
Thank you.
So will this be added to the debt service for the park, or will we try to pay this from our general fund, or what happens when we need more
It'll
money?
come out of the park debt service fund.
Okay.
Yep.
Further discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Cole?
Yes.
Commissioner Goble?
Yes.
Commissioner Newby?
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer?
Yes.
Mayor Blythe?
Yes, thank you. Order 24-129, an order of the City of Richmond reappointing a member to the Codes Enforcement Board. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas the term of Gary Nolan Sr. on the Codes Enforcement Board has expired on July 27th, and whereas this citizen is interested in continuing to serve on the board and has made a commitment to attend all meetings, now therefore be it ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners that Gary Nolan is reappointed to the Codes Enforcement Board for a term of 3 years expiring July 27th, 2027. The Board of Commissioners would like to thank him for his continued service since 2021 and his commitment for a second term on this board. This order shall become effective immediately upon passage by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners.
That's order 24-129. Thank you, ma'am. May we have a motion, please, bring to the floor for discussion and approval?
Move.
Commissioner Brewer,
Second.
Commissioner Newby. Let me just say that Mr. Nolan has been very committed to his service and his tenure on that board, and appreciate very much his service to this point. Any further discussion? Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Goble?
Yes.
Commissioner Newby?
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cole?
Yes.
Mayor Blythe?
Yes, thank you. This is the public comments period. First of all, Madam Clerk, has anyone sent anything through the office to be on, right? Public comments period. Is there anyone in the audience who's come tonight to make public comments?
I'm back again.
Hey, we got your sign up, Wayne, CVS.
Your sign's up.
Well, I hadn't seen it yet, but the city manager told me
That's not
about it.
that turn.
I appreciate that.
intersection.
Appreciate that. Maybe that'll help some people. Everybody ain't gonna do it. Maybe some. The reason why I'm back is because Walmart, when you get on the highway, which is the bypass, it's too dark out there. It's very dark. I think that's a state thing. May have to look at that. But it's real dark, and I come through last night and almost hit someone.
Do you mean that right turn only out of there, or
When you
mean
come out of right, when you come out, either right or left, well, you gonna go right.
You're talking about the light to
The
the
light,
light or
the street lights.
yeah.
It's dark through there. It's
Maybe
real
the
dark.
state is
And when people cross, you can't see them. And the other one is just almost the same thing, which is out here by Myers. When you cross the bridge, it's real dark out there. I don't know if y'all go out at night out that way just to check it out, but it's real dark. Someone's gonna get hit, because a lot of people's walking to Myers. Some people walk to work at Myers. Some people get off at night and they walk back. It's real dangerous there. I just thought maybe I'd bring that up to your attention.
Thank you, sir.
Need to bombard that District 7 representative on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 or 3 matters, I think, Commissioner, that, anyone else from the audience? Yes, please come, state your name, please, for the clerk's record, and
nervous, I wasn't expecting this.
Good evening.
Hello, I am Cheryl Jerick, SHERYLJURICH. I am the chair of Madison Home Board. I just wanted you guys to know we are alive. We've not missed one day. That is all a rumor. I've been with Madison Home for about 4 or 5 years now. We have 2 of our new board members back there, and we're in business, and I just got a call from the police department. We have somebody waiting on us, so I'm going to be going. Thank you.
Thank you for making us known. All right, anyone else from the audience? Public comments? All right, if not, Mr. City Manager, please.
I've got several items tonight, the first of which is we're going to be able to close on the new property for the Richmond Police Department building tomorrow. So we're finally getting that done. It's a long time coming. It's taken us a year to get that done. And I want to thank Tyler for his help on that. It was a lot of work. We did have a kickoff meeting last Friday out at RPD. The concept is pretty much done. And we get into the weeds with the specifics, and it looks like we'll have drawing packages to go to bid in 6 months. So I would expect next springtime is when that package would hit the streets for bids. I want to remind you of the Employee Appreciation Event, the 24th of September from 11 to 2 at Texas Roadhouse. Please come out and break bread with all the employees. The pickleball courts at Lake Reba are scheduled to get a final walkthrough and open on October 8th. So actually, October 8th is the ribbon cutting. I think they'll actually open a week before that. I think it's October 2nd. So we'll have 6 pickleball courts open to the public. The Richmond Regional Sports Park Phase 2 was advertised Saturday, and those bids are due October 24th. And then in our department head meeting this morning, I found it interesting, our new Codes Enforcement Coordinator, Scott Kaler, gave us an update on citations written to date in that department. And they've written 696 citations to date. And I think he said 678 had been resolved and closed. So that's a lot of work for that group. And that's all I have.
Thank you, sir.
Let me get this straight. October the 8th is the ribbon cutting for
That's correct.
pickleball at Gibson Bay.
At 1:30, that's right.
1:30.
And I'm getting ready to send you all out a monthly update that will have all these dates on it and updates on projects. It's a work in progress. Changes daily.
All right. Commissioner Newby?
I don't have any items, but I do want to take 1 second to, while I've got my moment here, to thank our city manager as well as Chief Richardson. You know, I get a lot of calls, always have, and I'm very proud of that. Get a lot of calls from citizens with the issues like we all do, and problems or whatever. And I don't like bringing things up here because we got a lot of stuff on the plate already. So I try to keep it in-house per se. And I know I stop by and I call you guys quite a bit, but each of you, both of you, have never failed to rectify a situation or point me in a direction to give them some assistance. So I just want to publicly thank both you dudes.
Thank you.
All right, that's what I've got.
All right, thank you, sir. Commissioner Goebel?
We just had Leadership Madison County today. It was Community Human Needs, and I'm telling you, it's my favorite day of the whole year. God's Outreach, Hope's Wings. I mean, we are such a blessed community to have so many amazing nonprofits that are not just doing a great job, but they really, truly care about people. And there's a difference. I mean, you can do your job, but you know, sometimes if you don't really care about people. But I'm telling you, it was such a great day, and the class came away just totally amazed at what all, you know, you hear about these places, but until you really get in and meet the people and hear their stories, it doesn't really affect you until you get to that point. And it was an awesome day, so kudos to Richmond and Madison County for some great, we did an enriched tour, we did all kinds of things, so it was awesome. That's all.
All righty. Commissioner Brewer?
Well, we went to, I saw Tammy Cole, Commissioner Cole, at the Hope Swings Gala. It was quite an interesting evening. I ended up spending more money than I thought it was. It was a good time. It's well-deserved recognition for those people, and a lot of people did show up, and quite interesting tales that they told there. So, but as far as, well, I'll just leave it at that. It was a nice evening. Thank you. That's it.
I started out the door, had my tickets in hand, and when I looked at the sky and it got grayer by the second.
Yes, and it did.
Yeah.
It opened up.
Yeah. Of course, they always know they have our support. Commissioner Cole?
Just one real quick thing, and continuing with the theme of our nonprofits, it seems like that's the prevailing theme of the night. But a number of the nonprofits are coming together on Saturday morning, Saturday, September 14th, coming up this Saturday, to raise money for God's Outreach Food Pantry. The needs have been more than ever, and specifically for the backpack program that sends food home with kids over the weekend that may be hungry. Just real user-friendly type foods like mac and cheese, ravioli, just things that almost any child could kind of grab and, you know, eat over the weekend and be able to kind of prepare themselves. So anyway, the food pantry, the Madison County School District, Eastside Community Church, and I'm sure I'm leaving others out. But anyway, a lot of the nonprofits are coming together to do a 5K on Saturday out at Richmond Center, and all the proceeds go to the backpack program. So consider this your invitation to come out and join us on Saturday morning. And you can still register for the event. It's runsignup.com/tracks4packs. So it's a fun day. We have some serious runners that are there, but it's also some people that just want to have fun and push their kids in strollers or walk with their dog or just whatever. It's a real fun day, so.
What's the date for that?
It's this Saturday,
This
September
Saturday?
14th, this coming Saturday.
And then, is there somebody you can contact about helping with putting stuff in backpacks or with the food?
Yes. God's Outreach Food Pantry does that, but they designate different churches on different
Okay.
months to kind of help with that. But I'm sure if there's other groups that want to help, they would welcome the assistance,
I've been
because
asked
that's a
that
big
question,
job.
so probably reach out to Mandy.
Yes, and it's
Okay.
an increasingly big job, because our local food pantry now, for the backpacks, I'm speaking specifically, you know, for the backpack program, they're not only doing Madison County, but they're doing Estill County as well.
Okay.
So the numbers, you know, for some reason, when we came out of COVID, probably due to inflation and high costs on everything, the number of backpacks that are needed for kids over the weekend has just drastically increased.
She said 5 schools have doubled their numbers
Yes,
this year.
it's,
That's insane.
it is,
That's a
so they
lot.
need more money than ever, so.
And, you know, one of the things we learned today, we've known but that you can have it taken out of your checking account. So it's just a matter of, you know, if you want to donate $25, it can go specifically to that program, and you never have to think about it. You know, it's just every month it's coming out.
And it's a very credible program. I know, you know, the food pantry had some questions about why their numbers have gone up so much, but it's a very credible, vetted program. The counselors and the teachers in Madison County Schools and Estill County Schools are the ones that identify the kids and talk to them, and they only go on the list to get the backpack if they truly need it.
All right. Is that it?
That's it.
All right, thank you. Just a couple of quick things. Let's see now. Last week, as this chemical weapons project moves further toward its completion, because there is now the destruction of anything that touched the chemical, they put together a memory book that starts in 2003 from the time contract was led with Bechtel Parsons Bluegrass, and this is a pictorial history that they put together from start to completion of demolition. Now, they're not, of course, it's not completed because there is, again, the destruction of those buildings and any equipment that touched the actual chemical of the weapon. So this will be up in my office if somebody wants to take a look at it. It's just got pictures of the employees with congratulations for their labor, and that it was done so efficiently and ahead of schedule. So that's commendable. That's an international interest project, a treaty matter, in fact, and we completed ahead of forecast. Let's see. I've spent the past couple of days, a day and a half, on campus in a faith-based approach to suicide prevention. And it was an outstanding conference. Folks from around the country, and Kay Warren from Phoenix, one of the co-founders of the Saddleback Church out in California, California. And she was our keynote speaker yesterday morning, but there were folks from around the country. There's one lady that I met that happened to be the mother of the mayor of Memphis. I mean, just folks who had experience in working with something that we don't like to talk about, but it's very real, and that being suicide. One of the things I learned was to watch my language and to be careful about saying that someone commits suicide. I'm thinking, well, that's common. No, they died by suicide, not commit. Just think about it. There are lots of things that we say commonly which may take on a whole different tenor. And then starting on Friday, this coming weekend will be Madison High reunion weekend. And it hit me, Rob, we may want to talk about some street naming.
Yeah.
We had a few vacancies in the list, and perhaps somehow this will be significant in that it's the last year for the schools to use the building before moving into the new Madison Middle School out on Goggins Lane. So quite significant, and it'll be a great weekend. And it isn't for any particular class. It's for all of the classes through the history of Madison High School.
Are all hearts and minds?
All hearts and minds clear? If so, then we'll
Yes.
entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Commissioner Newby.
I'll just raise my
Commissioner
hand.
Brewer, second. Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cole.
Yes.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Mayor Blythe.
Yes, thank you very much, and thank you, Madam Clerk.